Hi, I'm Rebecca. I'm the founder of Rebecca Babcock Coaching, and I wanted to take a second to talk a little bit about me as it relates to you. So, I never intended to be a coach. If you want to, please go look on LinkedIn. You'll see my corporate experience. And so, I wanted to explain to you how and why I became a coach in a way to hopefully help you to see what I'm doing and how it's different than what else is in the marketplace. So, long story short, I graduated from college and I grew up right outside of New York City. I went to college in Vanderbilt, down in Nashville, and I got back to New York and I got a job in magazine publishing. And it wasn't necessarily something that I had planned on doing, but it sounded amazing. My undergrad degree is in human and organizational development with a focus on leadership and entrepreneurship. So that wasn't necessarily feeding me right into any job. And I graduated right before 9/11 happened. So they weren't exactly handing jobs out. So I got a job in magazine publishing. My first job ever was at Harper's Bazaar, but I quickly went over to Vogue. And then I was at GQ. And then I was at a magazine that's no longer around called Lucky. Point is, I really rose the ranks. I did well there. I enjoyed it. I was good at it. I knew how to do it. I got accolades and rewards. Also, there's a lot of flip side to, working really hard when you're young and getting walking pneumonia because you're so burnt out, but you think it's everyone else's fault when really you need to set boundaries. Anyways, it was great. Side note, when I was 16, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which is an autoimmune disease that the brain tells my colon that it's a foreign object and it's constantly attacking it. That'll come into play later. When I was 32, I got divorced. So here I was, 35 years old. I knew how to do one thing: sales and marketing on the advertising side of the most powerful magazines in the world. And when I was 35, I was the senior director of integrated marketing at Glamour. And it didn't seem all that integrated. It felt like, okay, the internet's coming along, social media, all these things, we need to really get ahead of it. And I think I rang that bell a little too loud. I think for me, it was like, there's no backup here. Like, I'm single, I have a chronic illness, I need health insurance, and I live in New York City, and like, guys, we got to get ahead of this. And they were kind of like, Rebecca, got bigger people thinking about these kinds of things. So I kept ringing the bell. They kept kind of saying, I don't think so. And I'm sure it was other things too, but we mutually agreed that it was time for me to move on, which it was. But here I was, 35 years old, and I was like, what am I supposed to do when I grow up? Like, I'm not 22. I should have an idea of what to do next in my career. And I have no idea. I know how to do this one thing. And so I went out looking for somebody, I don't care what you called them, to help me better align the things I was passionate about and that I enjoyed with my career. And I took every assessment known to man. And it didn't really seem like the career coaches were like, well, based on your previous experience and college degree and these sorts of things, like, you could apply for these kinds of jobs. And I said, what if I'm not sure what I want to do? And they were like, oh, we don't know how to help that. Like, we help you based on what you've done. It was pretty linear. Go talk to a life coach. And I'd say to the life coach, like, what should I do? And they were like, what does it matter? Just, follow your bliss. And I was like, it does matter. I need health insurance and I'm single. So I hired a career coach and I got a new job, basically based on what the marketplace thought was appropriate for me based on my resume. It wasn't like I was like, I know exactly what I want to do next in my life. So I got a job at eBay, and that's amazing. And I was in business development. I was a consultant. So I was like, this doesn't really solve the problem of figuring out what I'm going to be when I grow up, but it's a good name company. I'll ride this out for a while. So while I was at eBay, I had my entire colon removed in an emergency surgery, like totally unexpected. And it set off this series of events. Again, I'm a single woman living in New York City. So I had 5 surgeries total over about 2.5 years to totally rebuild my digestive tract without a colon. Crazy. So it wasn't so much like this introspective journey of what I care about in life. It was like surgery, go back to work to get the health insurance, surgery, go, and this went on. So the next thing I know, I'm 40 and I am done. The gig is up, no harm, no foul. Just you're a consultant, your time's up. So there I am, 40 years old, and I have no idea what I'm going to do next. And my life had gotten lifey too, not only divorce and chronic illness and surgeries. I'd met a man and we'd made embryos together, and then we broke up, and life wasn't awesome. I got sober when I was 35. At that point, I'm 40, I'm 4 years sober. I'm kind of like, what's this all for? So basically I was like, what's this all, what's it for? And so I've had a therapist since forever, and I love therapy, but therapy for me is about, what are you running from? What's happened in your past that's sort of precluding you from really being present now? And I was looking for more like, okay, well, what do we do next? What happens now? And I had a therapist, and I had someone who was helping me with relationship stuff, which was great. And then at that point, I'd hired an executive leadership kind of a coach more than a career coach, because it was like, oh, maybe I just have imposter syndrome because I changed industries when I was 35 and blah, 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 blah. Ended up hiring a career coach again because I wanted to really discover what I'm passionate about and what I felt like my purpose is. And I knew that on the weekends and for fun, all I did basically, not all I did, but I did spend a lot of time helping gain awareness and fundraising for the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation. So I was doing a lot of speaking and mentoring and sharing my experience. And the 12-step program that I'm a part of, because I'm sober, also is all about sort of mentoring and helping and sharing your experience and your strength and your hope with the next person. So, and I was like, but that's for fun. I need a corporate job. I need the insurance and steady income. So I took another job, this time in ad tech. And I was the director of sales. I was like, oh, okay, I guess I'm a salesperson. That must have been what was wrong this whole time. I just need to do sales. They basically said, look, you're great at mentoring people and you're good at sales, but you don't seem passionate or terribly knowledgeable about these widgets on a page that you're selling. And I really sat and thought about it. And I was like, okay, at the time I was like 42. And I was like, all right, I've got at least 20 more years of work in me. Am I willing to go from knowing what it feels like to be passionate about your job? When I worked in magazine publishing, my hobbies were also my job. And I know what it felt like not to be passionate. And I thought, is that okay? Am I ready to settle? Like, it's all good on paper, but I feel meh and stuck. And like, I'm too old to try and figure my stuff out. And so I just said, I can't do this anymore. So I went back to school and I got certified in every type of coaching humanly possible. So executive leadership, career transition, relationships, and life. Because I was looking for somebody that could help me align my purpose and my passion with my career and have a life that's amazing outside of work. And a lot of times, the more I got into therapy and relationship work, it was so different than what an executive leadership coach was telling me. And I was kind of stuck in the middle trying to figure out, first of all, I was spending tons of money, not to mention the fact that I was unhappy and felt stuck in my career. So I spent a lot of money on vacations and massages and getting away from my life. And I just thought, this whole model this is not what I survived 5 surgeries for. Like, this is crazy. So I thought I was the only one who felt this way because I couldn't find a coach who helped look at me holistically, my career, but my life too, and what I value and what's important to me. And am I working towards that or away from that? I could not find that person. And I did not want to become a coach. I realized through doing the coach training and having paid such close attention to the journey I had started when I was 35 and all the different parts of that, from meditation and breath work to retreats to coaching to everything else, I kind of put it all together. And I said, I think, this is what got me here. And I'm joyous and I love my life and I love my career and I feel passionate and purposeful and I didn't have to throw money down the drain. And I realized I want to help other people do the same thing. So yes, I have tons of coaching experience, but my point is more that I coach from a place of my experience, my strength, and my hope, and helping others to get there as well. So it's not all about me, it's all about you, but I'm not somebody who never, who worked for a couple of years and then decided to be a coach. I'm somebody who really kind of went through the ringer professionally and personally, and I want to help you. And there's a parable that I enjoy. It's actually from the West Wing, but I just think it's amazing. So I'll use female in the story because I am. So a woman falls in a hole and she's stuck. She can't get out. And a priest or a rabbi or a religious figure comes by and she says, help, I'm stuck in the hole. I can't get out. And they throw down a prayer. She's like, oh, I'm still stuck in the hole. Then a doctor comes by. She says, help, I'm stuck in the hole. The doctor throws down a prescription. She's like, I'm still stuck in the hole. And then theoretically, I come by. Male, female, doesn't matter. And it doesn't matter if you're a high level executive or you're just wanting to figure out what makes you joyful and have that work-life balance for real. And I come by and the woman says, help, I'm stuck in a hole. And I jump in the hole with her. She says, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Now we're both stuck in the hole. And I say, yes, but I've been in this hole before and I know the way out. So if any of that resonates at all, I'd love to speak with you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this, and welcome to Rebecca Babcock Coaching. I hope you have a great day.